Hey guys, what is up? CGDannyB back again with another episode of Playlog. That's right, the brand new podcast where we're going to talk about what games we've been playing, reviewing them, and talking about the things we love and hate about them. Today, I have this new guy here, never heard of him before, Mr. Connor himself, a.k.a. h0b0monkey. How you doing today?
Mr. Connor himself.
Mr. Connor.
Like, I'm more famous for that term.
Absolutely.
Like, I'm famous at all, but like people would recognize me more by Mr. Connor.
You see like a backup channel now, just Mr. Connor.
Yeah,
Mr. Connor. Grab the license while you're at it.
Right.
That's,
yeah.
honestly.
Let me just. No.
That was fast.
Right? Yeah, I'm learning from you. Hi. I have played damn near every Ratchet and Clank game that exists. So I was really hyped for this.
Yeah. So you legit have you played all mainline?
I didn't play the like party games. Like that's what I call them. The like all for one.
Okay.
And everything because they were like, are they good? They didn't seem like yeah.
Board day in college, we powered through.
Right. No, they were like I've loved those games since I had a PS2. I got I had the Going Commando demo on a disc.
Yeah.
And I was like, yo, this game's fun. And then eventually got Going Commando. Didn't play the first one for years, went back and played the first one. Was like, man, this sucks compared to the rest of the games. It's like upgrading weapons wasn't a thing until 2. I didn't know that. Yeah, so the first game you have like no upgrades. It's like this is what you got. But super fun game, some of my favorites. Like I don't know how you could release a game that's like more or less the same every time.
Right, but then it's still like amazing.
Incredibly fun. Like, yeah, oh my god. If Insomniac ever sells out, like I hope to God Insomniac never does what they did to Spyro. It just sells them out and gives them like Progeria or whatever they did to him in Skylanders.
So just saying, dude, Skylanders and Ratchet and Clank, bro.
Oh no.
They'd probably just cut Ratchet and just make Clank a Skylander.
Probably. Probably. No, I love the series. So hearing a new one was coming out was amazing.
Yeah, because like my history with it, I didn't play Ratchet and Clank, the original trilogy, until college. So I played through those leading up to because we went to go see the movie together, and then we played the game simultaneously. Right. Wilhelm scream and all that, the fun bits.
Wilhelm, no.
Great movie the first time. It's hard to watch the second time.
Yeah, it's. People always ask if it's good, and I always say if you like the games, it's great. But
I've never played the Future trilogy. I never played like Quest for Booty. I never played Into the Nexus. So I played the original trilogy and then All for One.
I didn't play Quest for Booty because at the time that came out, your boy was too young to own a debit card.
Yes.
And his parents did not like buying digital games.
That's
right.
So
I never got to play Quest for Booty, but I watched it on YouTube. Don't worry. I watched a full playthrough on YouTube.
I know it all.
Yeah. No, it's literally just a little filler game between Tools of Destruction and Crack in Time. That's right.
Cool.
Good trilogy though. If they ever get want to re-release them, highly recommend.
I think we'll get there. They'll probably just reboot them with Kit and Rivet. Well, spoilers, but here we are. Look, I guess it's probably preference. Hey guys, we are reviewing Ratchet and Clank Rift Apart today. We're going to talk about our favorite things we loved about this game. We'll be starting off with just general impressions, like the gameplay, the environments, certain storytelling elements, and then around the halfway point, we'll cut in. There'll be a fun little thing to be like, hey, spoilers now. So if you've watched me play through it on stream or anything like that, you probably know most of it. But you'll have that solid warning of, hey, at this point the gloves are off and we're going to talk about whatever, whenever. So be forewarned. You'll have that alert though. Other than me just spoiling Kit, but I don't think that's a huge thing.
Yeah, it's fine.
Yeah. So yeah, general impressions of Rift Apart. Like I guess in comparison, maybe or just standalone. What did you think of Rift Apart?
I think so. You haven't played Crack in Time. Crack in Time was a weird game because it was good. It's one of my favorites in the series, but it was very different feeling. Like I think they were trying to find their style because Ratchet and Clank before didn't really have a style, like an art style to it.
Is Crack in Time the first Future trilogy?
Crack in Time is the last of the Future trilogy.
Okay.
So that was kind of when we got the cute cartoony flat kind of cartoony Ratchet and Clank.
Yeah.
Like you see on loading screens and stuff.
Yeah.
That was when that started.
Okay.
So that was interesting because it was like, oh, Ratchet and Clank's now getting excuse me. I just drank lemonade, so I'm a little phlegmy.
A little tart.
Little tart. It's a little tart. No, like, so that was they like visually that game was weird because it was like, hey, we're trying to really dive into this art style. But this game felt like it kind of felt like it perfected that feeling of like, this is different, but now it still feels like Ratchet and Clank game. Because like hover boots were introduced and they're very similar to Crack in Time.
Oh, I fucking love those hover boots, dude.
And dude, let me tell you, we need more games where you get to like roller skate kick.
Yeah.
Like boots to booster bug. Because that's so fun. I don't know what it is about that.
Just that speed
so
up.
Fun.
I will constantly spam. It's like when you're using the hover boots, like you hold R1 to boost, and then if you hit L2 you like kick and like press yourself forward. Even when I hit like max speed, I'm still spamming L2. I'm like, I want to go faster, keep going. Dude, it's great.
It was also a good solution to like, because I don't think this is spoiler either, there's points of the game where Ratchet doesn't have Clank, so, and that was a big thing in Crack in Time too, which I think is why it feels similar. But like the solution to, well, how do you do your jetpack or your hover pack or anything? It was, oh, he has these boots. So like that was a good solution, because I don't know if you've done it. I've just started platforming with the boots on, and you just get so much speed that you can just jump things I feel like you shouldn't be able to jump. Like because they don't account for the speed you get on certain levels.
Yeah, you just launch dude, all the time. Like flying over mountains.
Such a fun mechanic.
Yesterday, I want to say I don't have the names of the planets down, but it's the one that's basically just that big open crater. It's got a bunch of the ramp. Is that Savali?
Savali, yeah.
Okay, I thought so. But I just went through 100% of that area last night, and I was using the hover boots for everything, and I'm like, how do I reach this thing up here? Because there's a golden bolt up above where you can reach. I'm zipping through, I'm flying. I'm like, if I take off this ramp, I get on this line, and I can't figure out to find out there's another path way in the back of the area that takes me out and around. But I spent probably a good 20, 30 minutes just zipping around trying to jump over rocks to get up there. It felt good.
I just, for clarity, spoiler territory is story based, right? Not like items and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Okay. Have you gotten the Map-O-Matic yet?
No.
Daniel, go get the Map-O-Matic. It's on the pirate level.
Okay.
There's a pirate level, and there's a whole like submission to like go to this bar. And you fight through waves of enemies, but then you get the treasure at the end, and it is the Map-O-Matic, and it just tells you where shit is. Like it made Savali so much easier because it even tells you where the Lombax stuff is.
Okay.
Which is a massive pain.
So
like
I was like,
yeah.
I know there's points where they're like, if you talk to a certain person, they reveal, hey, here's where all the stuff is you're gonna need now. Like on Savali, you talk to, I don't think it's Gary, but one of the Gary race alligator bird
one of the
things.
Alligator bird.
But he'll like, oh cool, here's all the lore you need to go pick up, and they show like the 7 or 8 you need to go and grab. I don't have one that just reveals everything, which means that's my next step.
It shows raritanium, golden bolts. It doesn't show. Have you found the Kreger bears?
No, I only have the one. I got the one.
Okay, they are a hidden collectible, and that drives me up a wall because there's a trophy for getting all of them, and the Map-O-Matic does not show you where they are. So all I know is I think there's one on each planet.
Okay.
And I found maybe 2 or 3.
Yeah, I have one. I have one of them.
But like technically I've 100%ed the game because I've gotten all the collectibles, but those damn Kreger bears escape me.
They got to run away.
They're little teddy bears, I think, dedicated to someone who passed away.
Oh.
Yeah, because there's something you find about like, oh, these teddy bears for like a hero who like I think it's someone who passed away, either a development team or a friend of the team or something.
Oh.
But that's why they're called Kreger bears.
Gotcha.
But they're cute and they're adorable and they're hidden really well.
Yeah. Like I said, I think the first one I found, the Planet for the Fixer, which is one of my favorite moments of the game.
Yes.
Which we'll get like probably into in the spoiler part.
Right.
I think that's a dope moment. That's like, if you don't want it spoiled, that's an experience. I love it.
Yeah.
Like walking through like the bizarre part, I just like was swinging my. Are you Ratchet there? Are you Rivet? I'm swinging my weapon, whatever.
Yeah, I think you're Ratchet.
I break something, and it's like, oh, you found a Kreger bear. I'm like, oh. Cool. I didn't know what that was. I was just hitting boxes or something.
Well, don't worry. There's an achievement for getting all of them.
Yeah, I'm sure I'll find a PS5 trophy guide and just
Yeah, send it my way. I kind of want to platinum that game. Those games are really Ratchet and Clank games are fairly easy to like complete because usually it's just here's golden bolts or something.
Yeah, get all the stuff,
like
complete the stuff.
And golden bolts are so like they just unlock stuff when you get them in this game.
Yeah,
which is great. Usually you have to like spend them or unlock so many, and yeah, it's really good.
Yeah, I think give or take like a month and a half before this dropped, I went back and platinum Ratchet and Clank PS4,
right?
Because that was something I always planned to do, and I think initially I never finished the game because I got to like that final quarter where you go to the base, you have to get in, Clank breaks in, but I took a break to play something else, and when I came back, like the first 4 seconds, I'm like, I forget how to grapple. I'll play something else, and just never went back.
Yeah.
And this past year I went and did it again.
That game was such a good reboot. Like it's a reboot, right?
Yeah.
I think they really were just like, we're gonna remake the first game and make it modern. Because like, I mean, there was stuff they changed, like the Zircon stuff. Zircon wasn't around until Kraken time, I think.
Okay.
But he's such a lovable character.
Yeah.
That you have to keep Mr. Zircon.
They gave us his wife.
Yeah, I mean, yeah. Oh man, that was when the one game where you got him, and that was the upgrade.
Yeah,
was you got Mrs. Zircon and then Zircon Jr. and you had the whole Zircon family floating around you shooting stuff. It was great. No, they that was a great remake of the first game because beat for beat, it's pretty much just the first game.
Right.
But it's better than the movie.
The movie had Paul Giamatti.
Yo, didn't you have Sylvester Stallone too?
Yeah, Rock.
Yeah, Rock. Oh man.
But I guess speaking of Zircon, because I know we talked about this a little bit, there's a lot of like I guess you'd call them AoE, like area of effect weapons in this game, where it's like I'm gonna drop this thing.
Oh, the sentry weapons. Yeah.
Yes, like, there we go. Sentry. So you have the fungi.
There's so many.
The bombardier.
Usually there's like one, maybe two. But like it's become like usually you expect a turret of something like a deployable, we'll call it, of some kind.
The Mr. Zircon, and then to drop it out and have it shoot whatever.
Right. Or and then like I guess we call it an orbital, like a Mr. Zircon, right? Like usually there's like a turret and a Mr. Zircon, or something like that. That's become regular. But then they're like, hey, one of your first weapons is Mr. Fungi, and you're like, okay, that's like my little deployable guy, okay. And then it's like, here's the topiary sprinkler.
Yeah.
Here's the Agents of Doom.
Yeah.
Like I'm just like I can just whip all this stuff out and walk around.
Exactly. Just throw it all up and then pull out. I'm like, because I did a lot better this time around of using all my weapons in PS4 Ratchet and Clank. I think I would be like, I found these 3 weapons that I like, and I would max those out and just power through. Until going back the second time, I got more versatile.
I try to level all mine up in the first one.
Yeah.
But those weapons you get like right at the end, there's like no way.
Right.
There's no way. So I'm in the middle of my challenge mode now. So I think I maxed everything out to 5, but now there's Danny, I'm catch up on some Ratchet and Clank history here.
Absolutely, go for it.
And one of my favorite games in the series, Up Your Arsenal, the third game, they did this thing where they're like, hey, in challenge mode, you can rebuy your weapons. Like you still have your original ones, but you can buy new versions called Omega weapons, and they can upgrade farther. So they don't get like a new form, but they get stronger. So so instead of level 5, they can go to 10.
Okay.
So that is in this game too in challenge mode.
Got it. I was gonna ask.
Minor spoiler, but that's just a mechanical thing. Yeah, it just gives you stuff to upgrade.
Okay.
But yeah, that is so Omega weapons are things. So now I'm trying to buy those and level those up.
Damn, because I just bought the Headhunter. So as I was getting to the end, I was going like as they revealed them to me, I'm like, I'm gonna buy these weapons in this order,
right?
And so I can start canonically, I guess, whatever. Which another thing when we get back to the weapons about Ratchet and Rivet sharing, I want to talk about that. But yeah, as I would continue to buy them, I'm like, all right, cool. Now I'm gonna finish it, get this gun to level 5, start using this one, and then keep using this one. Or like, oh, let me use the cold snap. Boom. All right, like got experience. Now I'm gonna switch to the pulsar shield blaster thing and jump around, make sure you use everything.
What was the weapon you had the hardest time leveling up?
Currently, it's the Headhunter.
Really? Mine was the lightning rod.
Yeah, I use that shit like all the fucking time.
Really? I did not like it a whole lot because I'm like, I have to hit them so much. I don't even know if this does damage until they get electrocuted.
Right.
Like I had to hit them so much before it happened. Like it was great for smaller enemies. I 100%, found like because you hit one and then it all chains and but I had a hard time leveling that one up.
I don't think I struggled with leveling it up very much because once I
didn't want to use
maxed
it
out,
was the issue.
yeah, that's fair.
Yeah.
Once I maxed out the blast pistol, I was like, cool, don't touch this for a while because that's going to be I just need to kill something.
Yes.
Let me swap it out. It just makes more sense to use something else.
Yes.
Because I need the XP for it.
I'm sorry. I'm going to tangent so much. I wanted to talk about this game
You're
for a while. So I have the reference right here. So we both have PS5s, obviously. We played the game. When we played Returnal, I think we both noticed that the controller did a lot of work in that game. And like, I think the first thing, because you played Returnal first.
Yeah, I think I had it like a day. I got it on launch. I think you picked up like 2 days after something.
And you said like, oh yeah, like you pull the trigger halfway down and it does something, and then you pull it full way and it does. And I didn't expect Ratchet and Clank to do that.
Yeah.
But like, but they did, and they did it so well that like, because even if it's stuff like, oh yeah, if you have a bomb glove and you hold it halfway, it shows the arc, so it's like you're aiming. And I'm like, that's awesome. But like, the shield gun was a great way to do that because you're either holding up the shield and then you pull all the way and blast it. Yeah. And that was super cool. Like, I mean, do you think that's going to become a normal thing for PS5 games?
I think it has to. I feel like it has to.
Fire half pull. It's such a good thing. Like,
I think it'll have to be games like Ratchet and Returnal that have like these crazy space weapons or something. But,
like, with your alt fires and stuff.
And I think some third parties will probably utilize it, but at the same time, like, it's going to be such a function that like if Xbox can't do it, how would we even operate that way?
Right.
So I think a lot of first party games are going to use this. Yeah, Returnal, Ratchet obviously did it amazingly. Although I think with Ratchet, something I don't say I didn't use it, but I think every time I'd unlock the weapon, it'd show like the little like, hey, here's the video of how your weapon works. Hold it to do this. Hold it all the way to do this. There were some I was like, oh, cool, the arc. Nah, I can eyeball this, and I would just constantly press on it and bop, bop, bop.
Same.
Yeah.
But like even the pistol, usually the pistol, like your first weapon is just a straight up blaster. Like it's like, oh, it's kind of your machine gun, your basic. Like here's what you. But having the like accuracy mode where it's like a little like pew pew pew, and then you pull down, it's like it was like amazing. I'm like, this is such a good weapon that I had to restrict myself. Like, there's so many times in a boss fight, I'm like, I just want to pull out the blaster and just ruin you, but I gotta level this gun up. Like, oh my god. No, they use like so far every game I played on the PS5 that was made for the PS5 which is 2 right now, but
2, but
has like utilized the controller so well that I don't know if I'm excited or scared to see what, like, if it gets ruined.
This thing is a fucking masterpiece.
It is the best gaming controller out there. Like, I love this thing.
I'm sitting here waiting. I ordered 2 more off Amazon. I have my red and the black one. Should be arriving sometime next week. I'm gonna have 4 of these things sitting in my room.
So in the bundle I got the second one. It's still in the box. I haven't opened it. I haven't had to. I'm like, oh, if this one starts to drift or something, I guess I'll just open that one.
Yeah.
But no, like these controllers do so much for every game I've played, and that's a weird thing to say.
Sure.
To be like because when they were like, oh, the haptic feedback motors in the triggers, I'm like, that's stupid. Why would I want that stuff? And then you play it and you're like, oh, this feels like, it's weird, but it's also like, oh, it's cool.
No, it's jarring, and it's like, it's such a cool feature. Like, it's one of those things, like, I love when I play the new game, like explaining Ratchet and Clank. I'm like, oh, I can feel like as my metal boots are hitting the floor, I feel like the clack, 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 clack.
Yeah, and like the set, it's not even like the shitty speaker that the PS4 one had. It's like an actual decent speaker that's like when you there's the cheat. There's the one cheat you get from the Golden Bolt. I don't know if you got it yet. It's called like Home Run Bat. And
I just got that last night, but haven't used it yet.
So what it does is when you kill someone with a wrench, their body just yeets out. Yeah. Like it goes so fast. But when you do that, it makes like a little ding sound on your controller. It is so good because it's just like bing. It's so good that I'm like, that is such a small detail that makes that cheat so worth having on.
I love the idea of just like, because I'm the annoying one of the group. I would love to be able to mod it and put like the NES home run bat noise, like the big smash.
Oh, that'd be cool.
And just sit here in Discord like, like Danny's playing Ratchet. Dude. Okay.
Well, they were definitely in the Discord call. Ethan would call me out when I played Returnal.
Yeah,
because that controller makes so much noise. But like, it's the coolest. Like the controller does so much for these games. I know we're talking more about the controller than the game now, but like, it's so good.
We'll look back.
Yeah. So gameplay wise, were you happy with it? Like,
very. Yeah, I thought it felt great. I think there's a lot of potential for plot holes that they're just like, it's a goofy cartoon game. Don't sweat it. It's not worth it. And I think like Ratchet and Rivet, like there's a big point where it's like, hey, we meet each other, we're counterparts, but we're like, there was the weirdness where we're like, we saw people like, oh, Ratchet has a crush on Rivet. Like, I don't think that's kind of like it's himself and his sister in like a
right.
I don't think that's what's up.
Like, I feel like there was a lot of misinterpretation. Like, because I think we both interpreted the same way as like, this is the first time they're seeing another Lombax.
Yeah.
Like this is like their only experience with their own race. And they're like, oh my God. Like, yeah.
Yeah. And which, then Ratchet has the whole fear of seeing other Lombax, like, they're just going to be disappointed in me. And
it's such a, which is weird. Actually, I take that back. Ratchet has met another Lombax.
Do we know if it's canonical at this point? Because I don't know what the timeline.
It was in Kraken time.
Okay.
So they referenced the Great Clock, which was a big thing in Kraken time. So I'm guessing it's canon.
Okay.
But spoiler for Kraken time, it's literally came out on the PS3. If you haven't played it yet or don't know about it, sorry.
You're fucking lost, bitch.
Yeah.
Sorry.
I mean, you haven't played it either. Do you care?
No, I go nuts.
So he meets another Lombax who's like this. He was a general and stuff and left over from when the Lombaxes disappeared. And it turns out to be his like dad's best friend. Okay. And he ends up, when they like end of the thing, Nefarious wants to use a Great Clock to like, rule the universe. He tries to use the Great Clock to rewind time to save the Lombaxes. And Ratchet's like, no, that's not good.
That's not good.
It pretty much turns out into a whole thing where he's like, he becomes the bad guy. And But so Ratchet's met one Lombax before. He just turned out to be a bit of a dick.
Yeah.
But no, like, there was that weird misconception I think a lot of people have, is like, ooh, this is Ratchet's new love interest. And it's like, I don't think it is.
Nah.
Right. Like,
just good old buddy clones and dimensional partners and stuff. Yeah.
Oh, they're so like, it's so interesting because I kind of expected it to just be like, here's female Ratchet. But she's not. She's very much still her own character.
She does have her own, like, it's not like, I think Marvel's idea of like timelines and dimensions has really defined that, like, hey, everybody has the same thing going on for the most part until like this one branch happens. Right. But I think they do a good job of building like Ratchet and Rivet exist as the same person, but have their own life. Because like we go through Rivet being like, I'm a rebellion uprising, Lombax, I'm trying to do this thing. I lost my arm going into this thing, so I have this cool robot arm. And then we get more detail on that as you play through the story.
Yeah.
But yeah, basically, like, I'm a Lombax. I make things. I'm pretty cool. I swing a weapon, and Rivet doesn't have like the robot partner, but eventually picks up Clank, and now you just experience them in the same way that you typically would a Ratchet and Clank game. And now Rivet and Clank doing their thing in their story. But they also build around like with Mrs. Zircon, like you guys are connected. Like you're a part of the same rebellion, but you're also like the same person. Therefore, like, your bank accounts are
you have
together.
the same account. Yeah.
So anything you buy, he has. Anything he buys, she has. And it's just simple way of being like, look, we don't want you to have to grind for the hover boots and the weapon twice.
Can you imagine?
You both got it. Yeah.
That game would have been so bad if it was like, you got to rebuy your weapons again.
Yeah.
Like, I'm glad they simplified it. The only weird one I found with that is the hover boots, because I'm like, why? Doesn't quite make sense to me why Rivet has them, but whatever.
Yeah.
Like, but no, I liked them a lot. I think Rivet as a character, I hate to say it, sometimes when they write female characters, they go for this whole like, she has to be a lone wolf, like she gets shit done, and she's like, maybe this is me being a man, it's white male talking here, but like they're almost become unlikable at points because they're like so like, no, it's my way. Where Rivet was very much like, no, I get shit done too, but I am also lighthearted about it for the most part. And like, I liked that because that's very much like, If anything, they do Ratchet a little dirty because he always sounds like scared a lot.
Yeah.
I don't know if you've noticed this. Where he's like, "Oh no, more enemies!" I'm like, "Dude, you've been doing this for like 15 years. What do you mean?"
And it's funny because there's like two moments that when you meet Gary, with Ratchet, the one monk, and he's just like, "Hey, you're Ratchet, right? Hey, my town's under attack. Could you?" And Ratchet's like, "Oh, saving a city from a robot attack? Nah, I might have done this once or twice." Like, he's very confident. And then, in just random encounters, he'll be like, "Oh, no. They're going to get me." Like, it's a weird thing. And like, part of me thought sarcasm, but
yeah, it's all right. Like, I love Ratchet. They still made him playful. I love Rivet. Like, honestly, really fell in love with that character really quickly. They did a good job writing her.
So amped to see once you get to the spoiler part, but like whatever's to come next for those characters. Like I want the third of this trilogy like next week. Like I want to play it, and it's gonna be so far away.
I'm wondering if we won't get, like, they haven't done it before really. I wouldn't mind DLC of like, hey, here's some extra stuff.
Yeah.
Or something.
I had mentioned that about DLC
maybe an epilogue or something, right?
Yeah.
Like,
or I thought maybe doing like the Miles Morales, like Uncharted Lost Legacy, like here's your smaller. It's weird because I feel like Ratchet and Clank games are already pretty small comparatively to other like big PlayStation titles.
Yeah.
So I don't know how you make it even smaller.
I literally could have beaten it technically in a day. I think if I really tried, but maybe two, but they're not long to get through.
I think it took me 3 streams. And I was with a few console crashing and just exploding, but
it's I mean, it's interesting that these games can still exist and people like them, because they're such a relic of a different time. You know, this was PS2 when your Jack and Daxter was big, your Sly Cooper, your Ratchet and Clank, and Ratchet and Clank's really the only one that still exists, and like it still is the same way. Like, it's still a platformer, which is, I love. Those are the games I grew up on. But well, we'll talk about the spoiler part.
Sure.
No, I love that this game can still exist and be popular, and I hope we get more.
For sure. It's awesome. I guess it's about time to get into spoilers, but before we do that, I think it's time to hear a word from our sponsors.
Sponsor!
Today's episode of Playlog is brought to you by h0b0 Energy. h0b0 is a jitterless energy drink formulated to give you focus and energy with no jitters or crash. h0b0's formula contains vitamins, amino acids, and nootropics, including the patented neurofactor. In total, h0b0 contains a blend of 10 awesome ingredients teamed up to boost your focus and keep you at the top of your gameplay. h0b's flavor recipes are one of a kind and custom made by h0b. You will not find their exact flavor profile anywhere else because they only exist with h0b. No calories, no sugar, and no artificial colors. h0b has just restocked on their signature flavor of energy drink, Dragonade, a delicious mixture of dragon fruit, pink strawberry, and lemonade, as well as their new shaker cups, now featured in new colors including blue, black, and lime. Go over to h0b.gg right now and use code CGDannyB at checkout for 10% off your order. That's h0b.gg, or you can use the link in the description and use code CGDannyB at checkout. h0b Energy. Be better. Okay. Gloves are off. It's time to talk about fucking spoilers.
When Godzilla showed up, I was shook.
It was crazy. I was like, Connor loves this part. Yeah. Connor's losing his mind.
I screamed like a little girl. Yeah. It was great. No, so I mean, diving right in, Rivet and Kit is like,
I love it so much.
Man, I was so scared when they were like, here's Rivet, and I was like, okay. And then like when I met Kit in the story, and I was like, oh no, are they gonna replace Ratchet and Clank? Is Ratchet and Clank die at the end of it? Like, I was so terrified.
Because I think we talked before, and you had mentioned, because there was the plot of like Ratchet's afraid to meet the other Lombax, but like Rivet seems to be taking a front seat in this. Like, are you afraid it was going to be Rivet and Clank, and then Ratchet kind of takes the back seat and like disappears for whatever happens next?
Right.
And that was like a discussion point.
And I was scared that's where the plot was going to end, was Ratchet and maybe Clank go off to like find the Lombaxes, or go to live with the Lombaxes. Dies. Or he just does, like, he just retires, right? He's just like, okay, I'm done. And then we follow Rivet and Kit, which I'm not against, but it's just sad for me to see this character I followed since I was a kid, and like, you know, he gets his game and then he's gone, and like it sucks, but that's not the case. It doesn't seem, at least.
No, it seems like we're all a big team now, a team of 4.
Which, holy shit, dude, I would love more games of that. Of like if ever Ratchet Clank game from here on out is like, yeah, Rivet has parts, or like you can switch or whatever. Like, that'd be awesome. I'm so happy. Kit. So I want to talk about Kit, because I think the difference between Ratchet and Clank and Rivet and Kit are very interesting.
Yeah. So real quick, so to fill in for anyone who is watching and said, fuck it, I don't care about spoilers.
Sorry, we jumped right in.
So around the 3rd-ish or 4th mission, you play as Ratchet, Clank's missing, and he's with Rivet. You've already talked like, hey, keep him safe, I'll meet you guys wherever. But Ratchet stumbles upon another little robot. It's KT2704 something like that.
It's their numbers,
Yeah. And he's like, hey, you remind me of someone. Do you want to like team up? I'm trying to, you know this area, I don't. She's like, oh, sorry. I'm like
adorable, by the way.
Oh my god, like, dude. When like the platform she was on tipped and I saw her little silhouette, I'm like, oh my god, it's the female Clank. Adorable. Absolutely loved it. And it was another like great thing of like, they showed nothing of this character. Like there was no trailer that showed Kit. Like, and then like when she shows up in the game, and like that's one of those things I feel like if it got leaked, you'd be like, that would have been cool to just see. Like that's why I'm always so heavily on spoilers. Like that moment felt so good to meet Kit.
Yes.
Or at the time, like you don't know her name because like I don't have a nickname, and Katie, something else. She's like, I don't really like that one. And eventually she comes like, I kind of like Kit. And you're like, done, let's do it. But yeah, that was a great thing to have without it being thrown out in a trailer or something. Yeah, I loved it.
Yeah, no, it was really well done as like a female counterpart to Clank. Like what's really funny is Clank always came across as like very like scientific. And she didn't do it as much, but I think it would have been funny because like where you find Kit, she's like living with these monks and stuff.
Yeah.
I think it would have been funny if Kit was more spiritual as like a counterpart. And like that would have been funny, but she's like they do. So, I mean, do you know how Ratchet found Clank? Are you aware of?
Based on
you played the first game. Yeah. So like that, the difference of like, hey, Clank was a failed one compared to like, hey, Kit wasn't. Like, was so good. Of like, Kit wasn't. She did her job. She just hated it. Like, was kind of the thing.
Yeah.
And I think that's funny considering the different universes where like Nefarious sucks versus Nefarious is competent. Like, I think that was a funny thing of like, so they never met. It was really like when you meet Emperor Nefarious, I was like, am I gonna meet this guy? Like, this guy's actually badass. Like, I get it.
We were in Discord the night I did so towards the end you fight Dr. Nefarious. Yes. And then you end the game with Emperor Nefarious, who is Kit's Rivet and Kit's Nefarious. Yes. But you fight your Ratchet and Clank's Nefarious first. And when I did that fight, I'm like, this doesn't feel like an endgame fight, but like it's Nefarious. So like I'm at I forgot about Emperor because like we've heard the name, but like we haven't met this man yet.
Yeah.
So as
he was off
doing
something else. He was off conquering other planets or something.
So thrown because I'm like, I'm about to beat this game, and then you beat it. Emperor shows up, and they have a little dialogue. Like you told me, they do the very like, hey, when you're ready to end the game, you're there. And Kit and Rivet had this little exchange of like, maybe before we go, we should upgrade our weapons. I'm like, oh, that's it. Like that's the the teaser of like, I'm about to go to the end to find out there's still two whole worlds.
They set it up really well because I was in the same boat. I was like, is this where it like I was like, this feels really short, but like okay, I guess this is where like it makes sense to end here. And so like
psych, you got a bunch of shit to do.
They pulled they pulled what I like to call a Bastion on us because I had the same thing happens in Bastion where you're like, collect all the things, you're done, psych. Like,
I was gonna make a joke, be like, it's a robot turned into a fucking turd and just killed you.
Yeah,
different Bastion.
No, it was a good twist. Emperor Nefarious is like
so cool,
actually kind of scary compared to like normal Nefarious is the goofy villain, and he's like. You know, I miss when he used to freeze and like play like soap opera noises. I miss that. But yeah, like the fact that now we have Emperor Nefarious and that he was threatening.
Well, his bitch ass dead now, so
Well, I still like to
presumably.
think the only reason you beat him is because you took him to Ratchet's dimension where he
Yeah.
doesn't win.
Yeah.
Because that was Nefarious' whole play. He's like, I'm going to go to a world where only I win. And now he went to Ratchet's, and he's like, why aren't I winning?
I didn't even think about it that way. I was just like, dude, the power of teamwork, man. You can't
Right.
beat us. And then it's just like, no, you went to a world where like your name literally means you
Yeah.
lose. Like,
Yeah, like, it
that's
was literally
pretty great.
like, I like to think it's just the universe is tipped more in Ratchet's favor
Yeah.
in his own dimension compared to the other one where it's in Nefarious's. No, I thought it was great. Like Kit's whole story with Rivet, and like, you know, Rivet kind of mentions her like, yeah, I lost it to this whole like robot thing, or like, well, no, I think Kit says it first, where Kit's like, I hurt someone because I was doing my job. I was this big warbot, and I hurt someone, and then I left, and like, I think you could put two and two together.
Yeah.
Right? Like, it wasn't a big secret, but it's like, okay. And then, like, when Rivet, you know, is like, yeah, Warbot got me. I was like, oh, no. Oh, this is going to cause some tension along the way.
It was interesting when I streamed through it, because when Kit told her moment and, like, you see the silhouette, I'm like, oh, she's the one that took Rivet's arm. Like, it was just, like, a very, like, I got it. And then when Rivet comes back later, like, oh, I lost it to some Warbot. And I'm like, oh, no, I didn't realize the friction we're going to have.
Yeah.
Oh no. And then she goes to say something. She's like, don't worry about it, Kit. I got this. And like, oh, let the bitch talk. She's gonna tell you she killed your arm. Like, it was sad time. Although Kit's a badass, and she goes into like
so good.
I was hoping we get to play as Big Kit, like we did. I don't think we did in PS4, but I think in like the original trilogy, maybe future trilogy, you'd be like Big Clank.
Yeah, there was a part in 2 where like you had to do these missions where you'd play as a giant Clank.
Yeah, like
and like have to fight an enemy robot or something, and it was just a big beat 'em up.
Yeah,
but yeah,
I thought we'd get that with Kit, but sadly,
I don't know if I would have wanted like a turret mini game or something with Kit.
Sure.
Like those can get a little,
I did like their we'll call it a mini game. Their missions, like the abstract puzzle solving, and then the glitch stuff was great. But we'll start with the robot.
Yeah,
stuff,
that's kind of always been Clank's bit. Is when you had to play as Clank, you were doing puzzles, like somehow, and like these were a little like these in Crack in Time were actually kind of tricky.
Okay.
Because Crack in Times were like you were actually using like time stuff, like you need to like rewind things or like speed things up or stop them. And this one was more like spatial, which makes sense. But I was not like I was redoing them today, and there was one where I was like, "How do I do this?
How did I do this?"
Like, I was like, "What?" They're actually thought provoking, which I like.
Because again, in case nobody knows, like the way you play these ones is there's 4 different types of orbs. There's lift, heavy, speed, and electrocute, and you have to put them in these sockets, and there's like a train of what do they call them, probabilities.
They're like
but they're like versions of Clank that could succeed but don't, so you start a trail of them almost like lemmings where they just run until they die.
It is very much like lemmings.
And then you throw an orb, and then they interact with that thing, which gets them further down the path, and then they die again. You're like, now I have to go there, change something to make them go here.
Well, what's interesting is you actually have to use I find it's almost like a 2-part thing where like I now have to use the orbs I have to get the rest of the orbs.
Yes.
So I can solve the puzzle. Which like is a cool thing because that actually shows you like, hey, here's how they interact with things. And here's like, it gets your brain working on like the potential solution before you even start. Like I thought they're done really well. Considering the first Ratchet and Clank ones were like, get these robots in the hole. And now it's like, figure out how the order of operations of these things work to get your little self to the end. Like, it was really well done.
There was some I got dumb lucky, dude, where I was just like, all right, I know I need to put this here. All right, hold on, let me put this one down, because then all of a sudden here, like ding, ding, ding. I'm like, oh, I did it. Okay.
That's really funny.
I love those puzzles, but then I also love the missions with Glitch, which is the little robot that you get, and you like put her into like a
which
various
was like
computer panels,
a whole
like
sub story. like you had Ratchet and Clank, Rivet and Kit, and their whole story, and then like the Glitch missions were their own little plot.
Yeah,
which I liked a lot. Did
The
you
next
do
time we
them
meet.
all? Because
Yeah,
some of them
I
are
finished them last night.
optional. Yeah, okay.
Yeah. Well, I assume I did the final boss, which I assume means I would have done them all unless they're
Yes.
the optional ones are just skippable,
Yeah.
period. Yeah.
No, I think to get Glitch's full story, you have to do. I think there's only 2 optional ones.
Yeah. I'm
But-
assuming then that I did them because I did one where it was like next time we meet, for real.
Yeah.
And then I
yeah.
did the last one as you go to like finish up with Nefarious.
Right,
Like you drop
right,
down that
right.
cave and go in there for the golden bolt.
Yes.
Which I thought was gonna be like a fight. It was more hordes and then step on the
Right.
button and kill the big brain virus thing.
Right.
Which I expected a big glitch to like fight me, and I'm like, but
Yeah.
it was a pretty simple fight.
Yeah. No, the minigames weren't by any they weren't super difficult to where they were frustrating.
Mhm.
But they were a fun enough break from the game.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I wasn't complaining.
I thought they were great. I loved all the side stuff because it never slowed the pace of anything, but it also just added like a hey, in case you just want to stop swinging and hoverboarding around, here's a puzzle, here's a little robot spider mission. Yeah. I think they had a bunch of different gameplay styles that didn't feel too different from the other to like slow the pace of like gameplay. Yeah, it was enjoyable.
Well, and like I said, some of the glitch stuff was optional, so
Yeah.
you didn't have to do it. Those that weren't difficult. Like
Yeah,
I was
pretty simple.
expecting all the hacking stuff in other games were like another puzzle, right? Like it was always like the one was like you had to like flip switches to get like a spark from one end to the other. And that one was really annoying because if you messed it up once, you had to start on over. And it was so the one when PS3 came out and their whole thing was 6-axis, you had to get a marble. Like it was one of those tilt mazes, and you had to hold your controller. That shit would drive me up a wall as a kid because I'm like, no.
Could you imagine that with this though? Like you could feel that marble in there.
It'd probably be better.
Yeah,
it would just drive me up a wall trying to tilt it right. And, oh man!
All right, Insomniac, you cowards, put the marble minigame back.
No, don't bring back the marble minigame.
Rivet and Kit, give me the marble minigame.
It's Rivet and Kit, Marble Madness. So I would ask the question. I'm looking at our thing here. Where do you think the series is going to go?
Okay. So you had mentioned this to me when you had finished it. You're like, they do a little cock tease of like, hey, we're getting ready to see something, but then the credits roll. So I feel like obviously, I think we start the game by going to the Lombax planet dimension.
I guess.
Yeah, I don't know the scale of which it would be. But yeah, we go to this Lombax dimension and finally meet other Lombax. And then I think that's what's going to turn into. I expect we finally get to meet our people and be with our species. I think there'll be the subplot of like Rivet and Kit kind of feel, or Clank and Kit, or like we're not really Lombaxes, but we have our friends who are Lombaxes, and there's some kind of friction there. Or like Rivet and I'm fucking all these names up. Rivet and Ratchet are all like, I'm in love. I see the Lombaxes. Oh my God, inventions. This is great. I'm with my people. And, I think that typical, we meet our people, but I still have to remain with my current friends because I love them and they've got me here to where I'm at. I'm sure there'll be some important plot points and stuff with it. But that's obviously what I think happens next. But I don't know what all you do with that, unless you want to make the Lombaxes villains again and we all go back to living on regular planet being happy.
Yeah, that's the weird. I just don't know how I don't know how we continue on without it feeling like this is it,
Yeah.
Like without finally closing the book in this very long Ratchet and Clank chapter. But like, I don't want that to happen because I love these games so much. But at the same time, it's like, do they deserve that? Like, if we got one more game where we got Ratchet and Rivet, and then Ratchet like decides to live with the Lombaxes or needs to for one reason or another, or like maybe is busy and repopulating them back to the other dimensions or whatever. Like, not what I mean, not that like bringing them back over. You little
Ratchet laying pipe, dog. Let's go.
He's got a wrench for a reason. That's all I gotta say. No, like if he's like, somehow becomes their leader and is like, no, we gotta go back. Like the universe needs us. And then now we just have Rivet and Kit. I'd be okay with that if we got like a proper outro for Ratchet.
Yeah.
I think I don't know, man. It's so like, do you keep doing Nefarious? Is Nefarious now like, man, screw that other guy?
Yeah.
Like, I don't know.
I feel like this trilogy, and I don't remember the villains very well from the first two trilogies.
Okay.
But as I think about like Nefarious being the Ratchet and Clank villain, and this,
Yeah, he's become that. Yeah.
this second entry of his new arc, like I feel like we'll have that big conclusion to Nefarious, whether that means killing him or officially locking him up, or because I don't think there's no conclusion with Dr. Nefarious in this, right? Like we have Emperor
Not really.
Nefarious hanging on,
Just
you kick
kind of
him
ends
off.
up. Yeah, he's just kind of like, nah, I don't want to work with you.
Bye. Yeah.
Yeah. No, yeah. I don't know if maybe you do like that's Ratchet send off is all of his villain, which wouldn't work because Quark was a villain in one of them, but
That's the weird,
which was the second game where it was weird.
Captain Quantum, him and Quark team up.
I love that line where he's like telling him about Quark, and he's like, and he's considered a hero.
He's just listening to him. He's like, oh wait, I'm a counterpart in your world. He's like, yeah, you know, he's a hero, and he was a bad guy, and he did this.
He saw
and he stabs us in the back.
He stabs him in the back.
And he's a hero.
I love, like, when I saw Captain Quantum, I was like, is that just Black Quark?
Yeah.
Okay. Like,
I couldn't tell at first with the bucket. I thought it was like a weird shadow. And then when he took it off, I'm like, nah, he black. I dig it. I dig it.
He's right of the cookout. You know, like, no, I thought Quantum was really great because he like wasn't necessarily as like Quark's funny and he's like a staple now.
Yeah.
But he's also like, whenever he's majorly in a game, he's kind of annoying. Because you're just like, God, I just do all your work and you get all the credit. It's so annoying. That was a big thing in the first Future game because he's like president of the galaxy or something, and you have to save his ass. That he gets all the credit.
You.
Yeah, exactly.
Whole thing.
Now it's I thought all the counterparts are really fun, like how Zerky is Mr. Zircon and he's a pacifist. He just runs a bar.
No fighting in my bar. Take it to the arena. Yeah.
No, like all the counterparts are really good. I want to see where the next game would be, and if it is like the conclusion to Ratchet's part of the story.
Yeah.
Because
they need a third Ratchet.
A third Ratchet
in this next Lombax dimension, like, oh, there's Ratchet, Rivet, and fucking Sprocket or something stupid like that.
No, no.
Gotta stick with the R's, Danny.
Yeah, it's gotta be like Ratchet, Rivet, and Rumple. He's a little fuck. I mean, do you have any favorite moments from?
Oh my god, without a doubt, it's the Fixer moment. It was so fucking cool. So you go to whatever planet it was, whatever you get the crystal. Okay, so you get the crystal for the Dimensionator that you're trying to rebuild. But whatever shenanigans happen, it breaks. And you're like, how do we fix it? Take it to the Fixer. And you go to this new planet and you see this big, like, deteriorated robot. It's like, he was working like a week ago. And he was stopping the pirates. So you as Rivet and Clank have to go fix him. And as he wakes up, he's like, I can't fix anything, and just starts breaking everything. And there's this whole huge cinematic, like you're riding on the rails and he's like breaking through walls. And
one of the coolest moments in that game.
Oh my God.
It is like rail grinding moments are usually pretty boring, more or less. But like the two that stick out of my mind in the whole series is that, and then there's one in like it might be the PS4 game where like you're going around a building as it crumbles, and that is like the coolest shit. And like it might have been cracking time. I don't know, but I remember seeing it in like trailers and me being like, "Oh my God, that's awesome!" But like, no, that part's really fun and it's really cool, and I had to redo it at least twice because I died.
I have to go back and do my challenge run, so I'm so excited to get to it again.
Yeah,
I'm just trying to do a bunch of the weapon grinding beforehand.
That is a really good pick. That is a really good moment.
And you like for this new one, any other standout moments?
I like this game so much. I don't know. One of my favorite things was getting the Lombax orbs, the like Lorbs, whatever, and like listening to those because they were really fun because it kind of introduced us to a new character who who I forget his name, but
so I know I got the first one and listened to it, and I was picking them up as I went, but I haven't listened to any of the other ones.
You find out at the very end because he's like, yeah, we got to go to another dimension, but like we're out there, and if you get this, like, here's my name, you know, meet with me, like I want to hear your story. But like all of them, like, you know, spoiler alert for you, are all referencing other like Sony properties or something.
Oh, no way.
So like the one is like, yeah, I went to this other dimension. There was a guy who looked like Lombax, except he had like this weird like curved stick, and he looked like he was on a heist or something.
That's awesome.
That was cool. And then like, you know, he's like, yeah, there was this one dimension where like the one guy was running around, and he had a little like squirrel on his shoulder that was commentating. I really wanted to talk to him, but I didn't have time. And like, one definitely references Knack. Like,
yes,
Knack's
canonical in Ratchet and Clank crossover. Next one, dude.
There was one I didn't get
Ratchet
that said
and
something
Knack.
about like smart cubes, and I was like, I don't know what game that would be, but whatever. But no,
I have to hear it and think. Yeah, smart.
Yeah,
cubes.
the first year I like that, and then it gets into like, you know, in the first feature game, the Dimensionator is a hat. And everyone's like, why is it a hat? That's stupid. And it turns out this is the guy who made it a hat. And he's like, yeah, I turned it into a hat because it seemed faster to do it off voice commands than just cranking it every time. So like, and
this doesn't explain why it should be a hat. You should make it a thing and make it voice command.
But he references Ratchet's dad, which is cool.
Okay.
Caden is like his boss. But no, it's just a really cool like background thing that's like, oh, this is neat. That's probably one of my favorite things to like do, is probably like listen to those just because they were a really cool backstory. But favorite moment is really hard to pick out, man. I there's a lot about this game I like a lot.
I know, aside from the fixer thing, which is great, I think in terms of like a set piece, I know in terms of like story element, I love when Rivet and Ratchet, like, we meet up at one point and then we separate and we come back together. Clank is reunited with Ratchet, and then you kind of have Kit like, I don't really have a spot now, and Rivet's like, hey, you want to like, and she just gets like that giddy like, oh, yes, and like hops on her back. I'm like, I am so happy. And the stream moment of it is great, because as I'm like, they're so happy, we're about to beat the game, some shit's gonna happen and we're gonna have to do something else. And as soon as I finish that sentence, door opens with Nefarious. I'm like, fucking called it.
You know, that might be one of my favorite moments, is when Ratchet and Rivet finally meet. Because that was like such a, I didn't know if we'd get the whole game where they'd never meet. And then like at the very end they meet. But like, I like that we did get that moment of like, they meet, and then Rivet's like, hey, can I beat your Nefarious? And Ratchet's like, go for it. It's really easy.
That's really easy. That was pretty dope. I love that.
Yeah.
I'm thinking about it. Did we fix Clank's arm? That
they do in the end credits. They give him a little yellow arm. Which, did you listen to the end credits?
I didn't see it. I had them pulled up, but I was talking to chat while
both Nefariouses have a musical moment where they're singing the song back and forth. I don't know. But you should go see if you can listen to it on YouTube or something.
That's awesome.
Yeah, man. You know what's one feature I really like in this game that I hope they keep up?
Okay.
Was the armor. The way they did that.
Yeah.
Because like usually it's like, hey, you have to go to like only certain planets have them, and their armor upgrades, and they're hella expensive, and they just like reduce the damage you take, which is necessary later because you will get one shot. And like now it's just like they're collectibles and they're purely aesthetic, and or cosmetic, I guess.
Yeah.
And when you pick them up, you get passive bonuses.
Yeah.
And I'm like, that was awesome. And I want that in every game from here on out.
It's like the best possible way to do it. It's like, if you want to have it equipped and you want to look different, which I don't, because I'm like, this character was designed, I want to look like this character.
Right.
So like, I don't like putting helmets on.
At least my first like challenge mode, I might do it, but like first playthrough, I definitely don't like doing that.
But you had to mention, like, when you go into cutscenes and stuff, the helmet comes off. So like, you'll be sitting there with, whichever the customized one was, you could change the color palette. I put that on the moment in stream.
All of them can do that.
Oh, do they all? Damn.
Yeah.
Well, the cool one that was like white with like really cool accents.
The Nefarious one, the Empire one.
Yeah, I put that on, loved it, and then for every cutscene, it would like
Yeah.
deteriorate off
Yeah, it
and
like
disappear.
grows. Yeah, it like grows and then it's really funny.
And then like shrink back on.
Yeah.
No,
That was like one of my favorite features of that game, easily.
Super cool. I loved it.
It reminds me in Crack in Time, one of the biggest draws where there were customizable weapons.
Okay.
Like there was like a shotgun, a blaster, and like a grenade glove, and you could customize like how they worked, what they looked like.
Oh.
And that was super cool, and that reminded me of that. Just being able to like pick and choose different pieces and like get to fashion it up.
I like it in the armor. I don't know that I'd love it if they did it for the weapons because I feel like they're so versatile.
It was like there were just 3. Yeah, there were just 3 guns that did it. It wasn't everything. Yeah, no, I think that's one complaint I would have is I feel like we didn't get a ton of weapons that were super memorable.
Sure.
Like the Ricochet one's probably the most memorable. That was the most unique, and I liked that one the most.
Yeah,
but like we didn't get anything.
Headhunters, whatever.
Like we didn't get anything like the burping goat shotgun thing from Crack in Time, or like.
Well, I was really surprised we didn't. Like I expected the sheep.
I thought we would. Yeah,
which I guess is kind of the topiary, which is the mixture of the sheep and the Groovitron. Yeah.
Which I wanted like I want to turn things into ducks again or something. Like that was the best one because when you leveled it up, they turned into little like phoenixes. And I was like, yeah, phoenix ducks.
It was nice having the pixelator.
Yeah, the pixelizer was that's always a cool one. It gets a little obnoxious on a bunch of enemies just because they bit crush the audio.
Yeah,
and it gets really gross. But that's a fun one to have. Like I think that'll be one of the ones that might be the next like Groovitron almost, where it's going to show up in a bunch of games. So
missed my Groovitron. I kept looking. I'm like, I want to see what that guy dances like.
That was always so they don't do challenge points anymore, but challenge points were like the in-game achievements. And that was one of them when Groovitron was introduced, is see every enemy's dance.
Yeah.
Which I think included bosses.
It did. I got pissed trying to get that trophy because there wasn't a tracker. You couldn't see what you did and didn't Groovitron.
Right.
So I had to start my challenge mode. I'm like, did I hit that guy? Shit. And then I got to play through the game because that's like, you only meet this enemy once, or you only meet this boss once.
It was a real pain. Real quick, I know we're getting towards the end here. What did you think of the Rhino?
So I haven't gotten it yet.
Oh, Daniel.
So I was about to ask, where do you get the Rhino in this one?
So you have to get all the spy bots. So
that's what I'm working on, getting the collectibles.
And, each of them are like a blueprint piece. And then once you get all 10, you get the full thing. And luckily they're nice, and Miss Zircon gives it to you for free.
Perfect.
Essentially. But the Omega is 1 million bolts. So, your boy's working on that. You get the bolt multiplier challenge mode. It's super cool. I was really confused because when I first got it, I had the cheat to have like unlimited ammo because I wanted to see all the things that drop. So I was like, oh, I want to see, and like it's all Ratchet and Clank stuff. I'm like, where's the other things? You have to buy the upgrade. Like so it's like one of the special ones you unlock.
Okay.
But it will pull things from other dimensions, and I've seen like the Thunderjaw or a Scrapper.
That's right.
Like I've seen like a Jeep.
I'm so excited. I saw a clip of it on Twitter, but it didn't have any of the Rift stuff in it. It was just like huge explosions.
Yeah, one was just Sly Cooper. like just Sly Cooper drops down. There's a massive explosion. He kind of looks around, and then disappears. Like I'm like, that was weird. But super funny.
It's interesting to know though, because so like the week before this game dropped, Insomniac was tweeting picture after picture of like rifts opening up and things falling through. The Thunderjaw, the Jeep from Uncharted 4, Sly. They had the overcharged mascot from Sunset Overdrive falling through all these rifts, and I thought it was just like a fun teaser of like, hey, because PlayStation, they do that. Like they love to interact between studios. Like when Ratchet and Clank dropped, it was so cute. I think it's on Naughty Dog's Twitter, but it was Ellie and Abby from The Last of Us, like shaking hands with Ratchet and Rivet to be like, yo, congratulations on the game release. And they did the same thing with God of War. They had Aloy from Horizon teaching Atreus how to shoot the bow.
Yeah,
and
I remember that
they're so fucking adorable. That's why I love PlayStation. Like their games alone are great, but they're just like, hey, we are like a big family of companies. So make sure when your game drop, like we did a fun little fan art for you, and then we did this thing, and we talked to you, and like, I'm getting goosebumps thinking about it. I fucking love PlayStation.
Right? Yeah, they're so good. Yeah, man, the Rhino is it's not the best one, but it's fun. It's probably one of the more fun ones of just like, oh, what's gonna drop this time?
Yeah.
Like,
so is it like one thing that drops, or is it in the chaos? It's like raining.
So one big thing drops, and then it causes a big boom, and then the thing sticks around for a little bit, and it looks like it's the Thunderjaw. It's really funny because it's just real big and then disappears. Yeah. The upgraded version opens 3 rifts that do it, but I don't think big things drop out of the other 2. I think it's just one main thing and then like rocks or random debris. But maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I'm just not paying attention when I use it. But like,
we'll find out.
Yeah, it's one of the more fun rhinos we've had. Definitely not the best, but it's definitely one of the more fun ones.
I remember not loving the PS4 one. No, I had no like beef with it. I just remember like once I got it, I was just like, get. Like it wasn't a big explosion, but like I think I remember from it was 3. Is that Up Your Arsenal? Which one's 3? Yeah. So I remember getting it in that one.
Oh, that's the one I think.
Is that the one that plays like the big?
Oh no, or that's typical. Yeah, no, that's a different one. I don't know which one that was.
That's the one I remember. Then that's the one I know I had. I loved that one. And maybe that was just the hype of seeing it for the first time. Right. I didn't play Kraken.
Oh, maybe it was. I don't know. I don't know. But
I assume it was from the first trilogy. It might actually just been the first game because I remember I played that one the most before I moved to 2.
Maybe.
I'm guessing solely off memory. I just know big Aqua music.
That one with like the 1812 Overture or whatever is really fun. Cause I don't think it always. I think it would play like Flight of the Valkyries sometimes too.
Oh yeah.
Like you play different music. The one from 3 is the best because when you upgraded, it became like the Ricinator, and it would just shoot a bunch of lasers into this ball, and it would make like a sun, and your whole screen would turn white, and then all the enemies on your screen would turn to ash. And it was like, holy! Like when you do that, you're like, oh my god!
It's the BFG and Ratchet, dude.
Yeah, dude, it's so good, so good.
All right, to wrap it up. So, final thoughts: Ratchet & Clank Rift Apart. For all the people out there like, man, I don't have a PlayStation 5. I could go and buy one for $1,000 from my greedy scalper neighbor right now. Is it worth doing it for Ratchet & Clank?
Is it worth doing it? I don't know if it's just worth doing it for Ratchet & Clank. I will say this is one of the best entries in the Ratchet & Clank series.
Yeah, I probably played that up a little too much. I started just talking. I ramble.
I don't know if I'd spend $1,000 to play Ratchet & Clank. But if you are able to get your hands on a PlayStation, or you're able to borrow one from like a cousin or something for a while, I would play this. Like, I mean, I'm in the middle of playing it again. Like, so it is one of the best entries in the series, I think.
Yeah, I think this is an amazing entry, and like leading up to it, like we had consistently like, can't wait to play Ratchet & Clank, can't wait to play Monster Hunter Stories. Like we're like, Connor, it's so close.
Yes, I was like really expecting this to carry me to July, and here I am like halfway through my second playthrough, and I'm like, boy, it's only the 20th.
Hey, I'm just saying, Mario Golf next week. You could.
I might. That game does look goofy. I would play that.
I'll probably streaming it with Chris and John opening night. So if you're around,
okay, we'll see.
But yeah, I love this game. I think it's great. I'm still grinding for the platinum. I'm at 67%, I think, towards the platinum. At the time of recording, so trying to wrap that up. Probably not this weekend because I got other shit to do, but it's my Discord, sit and talk to people, grind through Ratchet & Clank game. I'm loving it.
Yeah,
beautiful.
It's a great game.
Plays great. Perfect. Well, guys, thank you so much for listening to this episode of Playlog. Thank you, Connor, for joining me.
Absolutely.
If the people on the interwebs wanted to find you, it's wherever you want to do with the internets.
Yeah, you can find me at twitch.tv/h0b0monkey. It is h0b0monkey. But I'm pretty sure if you Google, or if you just search up h0b0monkey, I'll probably show up. It's a big yellow icon, can't miss it. Yeah. Same thing on Twitter and all that, where I'm probably most active on Twitter. So if you want to see my goofy takes and angry rants, usually about stuff like, fucking high res or something, you know, like
High res, Capcom,
whatever.
Capcom, fix your game, Capcom.
Oh my god, I'm so glad we don't have to deal with Monster Hunter World.
What are you currently like? Are you playing through anything consistently right now? Or are you just?
I am
know Monster
currently
Hunter
playing
Mondays.
through Monster Hunter Mondays, which I don't know how that's going to look this week, but currently Mass Effect. We are in Mass Effect 2. Should soon be going to 3. But that is my current thing of reliving that series with a now that I'm not a teenager, just like I want to bang the hot human chicks. Like actually putting thought into the story.
Awesome. Guys, thank you guys so much for watching. If you enjoyed, please do me a favor, hit that thumbs up. Help spread the videos so more people get to see it. And if it's your first time, check out the content and you want to stick around and see some more, do yourself a favor. Hit the subscribe button and the notification bell. That way we get notifications every time a new video comes out. And I'll see you guys next time.
See ya!